I was fortunate when I got to medical school to meet a friend, Vuyelwa Mashalaba, who introduced me to a circle of her friends, which included Steve Biko, Charles Bisi, and many others who became the founders of the Black Consciousness Movement. At that time, they were in the Student Representative Council of the university. And we were in a section of the University of Natal called non-European section. The residence was sharing a fence with an oil refinery. So you can imagine the pollution, the soot, the ill health that we were subjected to. But we were aware that, this is not an ideal place, but we didn't connect it to the fact that if we had been white students, we wouldn't be put there. It's only when we started becoming conscious, at least me, who came from a non-political background, you start putting things together. And the first challenge for us was, how can we accept being identified as a negative of our oppressor? If you want to free yourself, you've got to free your mind first. If your mind is imprisoned, you are imprisoned. And that was the kind of discussion that led us to establish the Black Consciousness Movement, with Steve Biko as the main leader and the main thinker and the person who articulated our aspirations, our philosophy best. Steve Biko was an extraordinary young man who, when I met him, he was repeating his first year medical studies, because he became very active as soon as he got to the university, having been exposed to politics through the detention of him and his brother from Lovedale College. And so he had a head start in terms of awareness of politics. And he had natural leadership qualities. He was tall, handsome, articulate, and was very well read. And so, having been active in the student movement under the National Union of South African Students, NUSAS, he got disillusioned by the talk about multiracialism, and yet the very same students, when there was a challenge of not agreeing to being separated between black and white, easily was separated. And he came back from a NUSAS conference in Grahamstown, where black students were consigned to living in the township in a church in the middle of winter, and white students were in the residences of Rhodes University. That did it for him. That for white students, in his view, there was politics and there was real life. And he said, as a black student, politics is life, because that's what shapes whether you are hungry or not hungry, what shapes what work your mother or parents are doing, and that shapes who you are and what place you occupy in society. And so he had a mind that could integrate a lot of information. He was also a very social person, gregarious, always surrounded by people. And he was fun to be with. But the most important contribution he made to this country is to challenge the notion of black inferiority and white superiority. And unfortunately, the lifespan of the Black Consciousness Movement was too short.